listening to GUFON Radio with Rich Giordano.
My personal belief is that there is very compelling evidence that we may not be alone. There has been and is an existing presence, an ET presence. It's not going to make a difference. It's not going to change reality.
I believe, as do the other folks that were on the flight, that when we visually saw it, that it was something not from this world.
GUFON Radio.
You were either in or you were either out, brother.
But the cream rise to the top, oh yeah.
GUFON Radio with Rich Giordano.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
GUFON Radio.
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
You're listening to GUFON Radio with Rich Giordano.
Alright. Welcome to GUFON Radio Stream. I'm your host, Rich Giordano. It is an hour later than the normal showtime, but I had things I had to do. Nothing I could have done to have gotten here any sooner. But something happened to my glasses here, and I am rich wicked out. Welcome to the show. Now, I don't know if I'm going to do a real long show tonight. This is kind of like just an informative show about, things that are going on in the world. They shut down the NHL because of the coronavirus. The NBA was shut down 48 hours earlier. Baseball season most likely will be shut down. Being that they get 50,000 per stadium instead of 20. So I plan to see that if it hasn't happened already. I am happy to say that, yes, we're okay. But if you need to wipe your butt, man alive, is it going to be a tough one? What is with this toilet paper rage? What is toilet paper going to do for you? Seriously, what is it going to do? I don't know. Hey, honey. Hey, hon, don't forget to get me some toilet paper. Why? We've got 40 rolls. I got the coronavirus. So what does that have to do with anything? Just get me the damn toilet paper. I don't understand this toilet paper craze. It's not going to help. There's never been a shortage of toilet paper. I was watching, all right, I'll say hi, everybody. 50-something evasive, Joshua Morshu, Lee Bodge, Hodgebodge, Amanda, what do you say to NKMR, Lori Oliphant, God of Thunder and Lightning, B. Baker, B. Baker's Dozen, the Double B, BB Gun, Spaced Out Radio, what do you say to Chief Dave, Scott in the house, and everybody else just filing in, Great Plains Drifter, and so on. Look, this is something I wanted to stay on top of. I think I'm going to do a show every day now, except for Sunday and Saturday. Saturday, if I have a guest, I'll be doing a show like I'm doing this Saturday with Richard Lenny, who is a ufologist. We're going to talk about incredible UFO stuff, and I cannot wait. Hey, Lee Hodgebodge with a €1.99 super chat. The super chat is on, kids. If you feel like you want to save a life, donate to super chat on GUFON Radio. It is activated every single show, as you know. Hey, I need toilet paper and a computer. I may not be able to get... Okay, tomorrow I'm going to give an answer on whether or not I'm ordering the computer or just going to... I think I'm just going to have to buy one. But tomorrow will be... I'll give a timeline on that if I'm getting it tomorrow or I'm ordering it or I'm going to hold off until everything gets back to normal. This is a crazy time we're living in. You know it's a crazy time when Richie from Boston actually makes sense. No, I'm joking. He didn't make any sense. But I want to play this video for you anyway because he cracks me up. And I want you to hear, he's weird because, you know, a lot of people go to his channel. He's got 350,000 subscribers. People are watching this guy, and they shouldn't be. But what is curious to me is he has all this prepper stuff that he sells, you know, that he advertises in the beginning of every program. Gotta get your prepper food. I know it's people, but you gotta eat. I eat people's raw right out of the flake box there. It's all flakes. You can't tell what's an eyeball or an anus. I can't tell. They all taste like chicken. All right, and he's like a fear-mongering, prepper-selling... All right, why am I getting messages at this hour? We're going to go check... What are you doing? You know I'm on the show. Oh, God, he's not in the chat room. Let me tell him. I'm doing a show. That a goosh all over that message. Amazing, right? Etc., etc. He doesn't even know when to use etc., which is real funny to me. I was walking down the street, etc., etc., and I tripped over a crack in the walk. I said, oh my God, my mother's back. Oh wait, she's dead. All right, let's go to see what Richie has to say. Because believe it or not, Neil deGrasse Tyson says something stupid. Well, that goes without saying. Neil deGrasse Tyson, I think, and I'm not even joking around, and I've said this all along. Something's wrong with this guy. There's something about Neil deGrasse Tyson that, to me, seems like an actor. I don't know. You ask him a question and he doesn't have an answer, you can see how he talks in circles. It's the most ridiculous thing. I'll have to get some clips set up for a show, how Neil deGrasse Tyson is a good, who cares, right? He says things that don't make sense. And then he'll go, you know what I mean? And we're, oh, yeah. He's an astrophysicist. Why would I understand? Why would I understand? I mean, of course, he must be right. Well, he's not. He's an asshole. Anyway, Neil deGrasse Tyson is a government shill. I believe it wholeheartedly because I don't feel that he's smarter than me. That's why he can relate to us, because he's an idiot. I promise you, Neil deGrasse Tyson is not who he says he is. We'll never know the truth, I don't think, but I'd love to have the resources to crack that open. Just like psychics tonight. We're going to talk about psychics. How come they didn't tell us this was going to happen? Coronavirus, huge population interference with the... No, not one of you freaking fake psychics came out and felt oh, there's a global shift coming and we're all getting our senses and we're going to be able to astro this all the way to the other side of the galaxy and we're going to be able to talk to other beings that are just like us. They're special beings. They're called Phoenicians. I don't know exactly what it means, but I'm getting a feeling that there's this psychological shift. And it's happening. And can't you feel it? Everybody's getting their senses. They're getting their sixth sense. They're finding out that they're psychic and they don't understand the messages. But not one person got a message that there was going to be a global devastating virus that's going to take over their planet. Not one of you. You're all fake. You're all frauds. Your mother. God, I hate psychics. I hate it. They're all fake. Yes, they are. Not one of them ever got my situation correct. Not one. Is it correctly? Did I just see? I thought I just saw something float. Did something just go by? I am not in a good mood when my life is put on the line every freaking day. I got to step out of the house. You think a mask is going to help you? It doesn't. It only prevents you from spitting out, but you're still sucking in air. Your eyeballs. And this is very funny what's going to happen here when you watch Richie from Boston video. Your eyeballs, if you're not wearing a full Muslim garb thing, I don't know, go buy one. What do they call them? A shaboob? Who gives a shit? All right, Richie from Boston. I don't mean that in like a... yeah, I meant it.
Or don't. At any rate, check this out.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It's the 12th of March. It's 2020. Or at least that's what they want us to believe. I might have my phone upside down, so this video might come out.
Hold on. We forgot something. Thank you, Rich. Everybody, go fast. I told you to go fast. Okay, I gotta go. Nos, it'll forget about everything. It's a drink. Just give me the frickin' thing. Don't have time for this stuff. Thank you, Jaime. Fuck you. Hey! I'm doing a live show. Don't tell me that. Go.
Strange, peculiar, unusual, queer, not normal. It may have come out in an unexpected manner. I don't know. But check this out. While everybody's worrying and
At any rate, check this out.
hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It's the 12th of March. It's 2020. Or at least that's what they want us to believe. I might have my phone upside down, so this video might come out strange, peculiar, unusual.
What a great segue. It's 2020, March 12th, or at least that's what they tell me. My phone may be upside down. What the frick?
Unusual, queer, not normal. It may have unusual, queer. Video might come out strange, peculiar, unusual, queer, not normal.
Do you see what I'm saying about this prick? You see what I'm saying? Queer, not normal. How he puts those two right together. This guy's he's a real winner. I tell you that. I tell you that. If he's doing the manscaping, he should get a man to do it, to be honest with you, because I don't know what kind of ape or what kind of hominoid creature would have given that as a manscaping, go ahead, go out in public look. But that ain't it for, no. Richie, if Richie had a cool looking beard, man, or did something with it, like a Viking, you know, maybe tie it up in a knot or something with the rubber band and maybe a big middle finger button or something. I don't know. I'm a little confused. All right, we're only in a minute. Let's go. All right.
It may have come out in an
very
unexpected
important
manner. I don't know. But check this out.
All right.
While everybody's worrying and scampering and buying toilet paper, allegedly, and looking for hand cleaner, hand sanitizer, allegedly.
Why does he say allegedly there? Anybody? Anybody? Why does Richie say allegedly right there? Well, this is why I wanted to play the video. Look, there's some things that you're going to hear you may not agree with, and that's okay. Nobody knows. You may hear some things in this video that Richie's going to play, Neil deGrasse Tyson, what he says, it's ridiculous. I don't know why Neil deGrasse Tyson will say what he's going to say, but it is strange. Are people really emptying the shelves of toilet paper, or is that the government doing it? I'd like to see some video from the supermarkets that show the people buying the toilet paper. I'd like to see who they are. You can tell a lot by who's buying it. These are the glasses I was meaning to have, and I couldn't find them. And I put them in a safe place. These are the Rich Wick glasses right here. I mean, they don't get much better. Anyway, that's why Richie's saying, allegedly. Allegedly.
Boeing, they make airplanes and such. Boeing is making the exact same moves it did before the financial crash of 2008. And Boeing isn't the only one. Boeing is trying to get all their hands on all the liquid assets they possibly can. Boeing's an enormous American company, big time. And Boeing isn't the only one doing it. Blackstone, the Carlyle Group, and two others. At any rate, it doesn't matter. Carlyle Group, you may be familiar with the name because their name was intertwined all through 9/11.
Here's a guy who, as we have all seen, hey, Jason Miller in the house, what do you do? Hey, Willie McBride. Why does he not have this filled up? His paper towel rack. He always has that thing full, right? So that tells you a couple of things about this guy here. A guy who sells prepping food is not even prepped for his own trip. He didn't even bother to go buy paper towels because you can't. In Boston, people are going crazy, aren't they? I don't know. I'm sure they are. Guys, there's nothing to go this crazy yet over. I know I have said that I'm really nervous about the coronavirus. I am, because I'm older now and I have diabetes, and I was never this old when we had the other viruses and I didn't have diabetes. So now I'm in that part of the population that can be more susceptible to catching it. I know it's rare. I know the percentages are low, but this isn't something. This is the flu times 10. It's 10 times more powerful than the regular flu. Isn't that what they're saying? I don't like the flu, and I rarely get sick. I get sick from diabetes, where I get headaches, tired, I don't eat right. That's different than catching a bug. I create my own sicknesses. This one, it ain't up to me. I can only do so much. So can you. So just, while this is going over the world, 30 days, it'll all be over with.
The Carlyle Group,
Maybe.
if I remember correctly, one of the CEOs or vice presidents was Dick Cheney. So while everyone's paying attention, these companies are so big that when they make a move in the stock market, it can and will affect you. Do you see what I'm saying? So here it goes. Here it goes. And then you've got Neil deGrasse Tyson being put back out there again, doing the talk show circuit, giving his professional opinion that this whole outbreak could be an experiment. His words, not mine.
A point of view, I would say.
Okay.
I would say. So I'm broadly scientifically literate, but what I will say of this virus, I think we're in the middle of a massive experiment worldwide. And that
Where's the guinea pigs?
Maybe the experiment is, will people listen to scientists?
All right. First of all, Richie from Boston is taking that completely out of the context it's meant to be slated in, I should say. What Neil deGrasse Tyson is actually saying, and a lot of people are misreading it, it's the human experiment. It's not a purposeful experiment, guys. Neil deGrasse Tyson is just saying it's like an experiment. He just didn't verbalize it that way, but he figured people would know what he meant. But that's what it's like. If an asteroid hit the Earth, we would say this is a human experiment. We had no control over it. The Wuhan virus, there was control over. I'm just saying. When shit happens, we're always the experiment, no matter what it is. Mount St. Helens exploded. That was an experiment for people in that area in the U.S. and geologists worldwide. You know, he's just saying it. This is like a test to see if we'll pass it. An experiment. Not a real one. Dillhole, Richie.
Experiment. To see if people listen to science. You see, they're really angry that too many people have started to figure out that science lies about everything. Oh, well, geez, we didn't know smoking cigarettes was going to be bad for you. We didn't know ingesting smoke with carcinogens in it that are added to the tobacco by the cigarette makers. We didn't know that drawing that into your lungs all day long would somehow have some sort of a negative effect. We didn't know that. We just didn't know. We didn't have the information at the time. Science also...
Nobody forced anybody to smoke cigarettes. You can't make the comparison. I know he's talking about science, but this is cigarette smoking and a virus. This isn't the same thing. I understand what Richie's trying to do, but it's not that smart. Because even back in the 60s, people knew smoking was bad for you. Not that it was world known, but they knew. And when they found out, they didn't tell the public right away until there was studies done on smoking. And that took decades. This coronavirus is not the same. But I understand what he's trying to say here about people don't listen to scientists. And when do they never lie? Scientists always lie. I don't know if scientists lie. That's a pretty blanket statement to say that all scientists lie or scientists lie. There has to be some paper trail. Idiot. Oh, and they don't doctor that up? Yeah, maybe. But not. Let's just stick to Corona, because that's what the NHL canceled the season, right? Postponed it, canceled it. Either way, now I can catch up on my hockey games. I have 20 to watch, so I might as well watch them before I start work. I'm just gonna continue here.
Didn't know that making a painkiller, OxyContin, one molecule different than the purest heroin was going to somehow be addictive. And they flooded the United States with it. And then when people started dying left, right, and center and all hell broke loose, they flooded the United States with heroin. Because that's what they went to Afghanistan for. heroin and lithium. And to kill people. I mean, you can't just show up and not kill a bunch of people. I mean, what fun would that be? Neil deGrasse Tyson basically laid down the gauntlet that here's what happens to you jerks that think on your own. Here's what happens when you discover that the earth isn't moving, it's fixed and immovable. Here's what happens when you realize that the moon doesn't actually affect the tides at all. Not at all. Here's what happens when you figure out that we went to the moon every 3 days 50 years ago, but we don't do it anymore at all. Not at all. We don't have.
We went to the moon every 3 days? Every 3 days? And we only went 6 times? 3 days? That's not right, right? That's not right. Every 3 days. He did say that, right?
Discover that the earth isn't moving, it's fixed and immovable. Here's what happens when you realize that the moon doesn't actually affect the tides at all. Not at all. Here's what happens when you figure out that we went to the moon every 3 days 50 years ago, but we don't.
Yeah, he really meant what he said. You can see with the lip. He's got a lot of lip movement, like he's chewing on nothing. Watch, it's like he's chewing on his own tongue after he says 3 days. He really, oh man, he's.
Here's what happens when you figure out that we went to the moon every 3 days 50 years ago, but we don't do it anymore.
See what I'm saying? That nom nom. He doesn't know what he's saying.
50 years ago, but we don't do it anymore at all. Not at all. We don't have to. We've got a remote control car that works amazingly with no one to fix it, service it, repair it on a distant red dot in the sky or Mars. And we're all going to go live there. Cool. If you don't believe that there's a Tesla automobile flying around in outer space with a GoPro camera and a mannequin in it, well then you're just a crazy conspiracy theorist asshole.
Well, you speak for yourself, Richie, because the moon, Lori, you're right. The moon does affect the tides on the earth. See, Richie believes in the flat earth. That's the problem. So we're dealing with, yeah, I know. We're dealing with half the brain capacity that I think a person who has a channel this big should be allowed to have. Because when you're talking this way about the moon not affecting the tides and it's a flat earth and we're living under a firmament, when you have 350 something thousand subscribers, you're reaching a lot of people. And those people somehow believe in you. I'm not sure how many. I've never done a... God, can you imagine doing that type of survey on Richie from Boston's subscribers? I'm one of them. What is, all right, I'm almost
doing. Hitler was doing. Bill Gates comes from a long line of eugenicists in his family. Look that one up. Or don't.
I don't care.
If you think it's a complete coincidence that they had an event about a pandemic at the very end of October in New York City with all these Illuminati scumbags there, and then suddenly we're having an event. A pandemic at the very end of October in New York City with all these Illuminati scumbags there, and then suddenly we're having an event. The only problem is the event doesn't actually, you can't see it. The only place the event is on the mainstream and coming from the authorities. You know what I'm saying? If you remember...
You know, that's... there's not much more I can handle with this. You know, interesting point. Can't see it. Duh. All right? Yep, right. B. Baker. He's right about Bill Gates. His dad is creepy eugenics. He is in his airplane. Richie is in his airplane truck. Yep. It's a unique truck. It has wings, yet it's on the ground. I can't explain it. You have to see it. That's why it makes the noise. Yep. Yep. It is true that they did have the meeting. It is weird. You can look into anything and find a conspiracy, but it is freaking weird that they had that meeting. And then literally a month later, the virus was in China. And we were like, here we go again. Another outbreak, that's being made to be something special in China again. And that's why the U.S. didn't really react until people started dying. When that doctor died, the guy who came out and said, this is going to be a pandemic. And then he was dead from the virus weeks later after he came out and said that he was the one. China doctor, 33-year-old guy, 33. And everything is 33 connected. You saw the video I played last week where too many times in the media, they're saying 33,000 people infected. 33 people got infected. 33 people were shown to having symptoms. 33 this, and everything had to do with the number 33 in the media. I find that questionable. The meeting that they had with the globalists in the end of October, the number 33, right? Toilet paper. Let's talk about the toilet paper real quick, can we? The toilet paper shortage is not real. There's no shortage of toilet paper. I don't know why toilet paper is being purchased the way it is. It makes no sense. Unless people are buying toilet paper instead of paper towels to clean their houses with. Because it's cheaper? I don't know. But the hand sanitizer, there's only so much it's going to do. It seems like this coronavirus is being jacked up in the media. Mainstream media. I almost said social media. Tom Hanks and his wife say they have the coronavirus. We didn't see any test results. We don't know about the truth that's behind it. I said it may be similar to what Magic Johnson was when AIDS was just making its rounds and killing people, famous people, everybody. He became the spokesman for the NBA and pretty much the spokesperson for AIDS back then. This might be the same thing with Tom Hanks. Could be the spokesperson. He tweeted today again that they're doing fine, he and his wife. They have the virus. The symptoms are very minimal, but they probably will beat it. And I think somebody, if it was Lori, said in the chat room that I should up my age 10 years to 62 if I'm diabetic. Because when you're diabetic, it's like adding 10 years to your life. So I believe that's accurate. But what do I know? What do we know? What do we know? We only know what the media is telling us, right? We don't know anything else. Anybody here have a spouse or a loved one with the coronavirus? I would like to... Yes, B. Baker. Whoops, wrong one. Tom Hanks is rumored to be involved in dark New World Order stuff. Yeah, true. I've heard of that rumor too. Nathan? Oh, that's what Lori meant. Rich, up her. See, it's hard to understand text. I thought because of what I was talking about, you were telling me to up my age. Oh, you're 62. Okay. Yeah, well, now that makes sense. See how things can get misconstrued? So we're just going by what the mainstream media is telling us. Really. Nathan, do you know anybody who has, or Lee, are you saying that you and your partner have the virus, or are you just sick? I'm not sure because he was held up for 7 days. Anyway. Hey, D. Cooper. Yeah, I'm pulling out all the wick tonight. So, and you know what, Lori? That's interesting. I would think that being 52 with diabetes is like being 62. That made sense to me. So I'm going to go with that. It is weird. Why is it toilet paper? Very good question, Lisa Marie. I don't understand it either. Oh, okay. Lee says, I'm in isolation. His mate got sick. But did he get sick with the corona? Is what people are wanting to know. Should we stay away from your messages? Like if I post your message here, does everybody catch your cold? See what I'm saying? I know you're not sick, but you're in isolation. All right. Well, Neil deGrasse Tyson didn't say experiment, meaning that this is an experiment. Richie from Boston, Mr. Fearmonger. Okay, let's see what his genius friends have to say here.
Their plan was going to be.
One thing you just said about getting rid of one of the best ways to get rid of the money is because everybody touches it and there's a germ. We were talking about the Bill Gates funding MIT and Bill Gates backing him, of course, because Bill loves people. He's always trying to help people out, whether he's poking your children with a needle or spraying things in front of the sun so you don't get that pesky sunburn. Bill loves people. They have the invisible ink tattoo.
Can I just say something? Look, if you're going to be doing a show, at least have the nerve to close the curtains on your studio lights. Really? Really? You can see the pole. Really? Do you need these lights, guy? Sitting at your fireplace with the crooked stuff?
That can be read remotely so they can tell if you've gotten your vaccines. Why would they need that unless there was a pandemic? That's the next step. And that ties right into what you just said. That'll do just like they always do. It'll be multifaceted. Force everyone, or actually make everybody want a vaccine because nobody wants to get sick. And then get rid of the money. And of course there'll be incentives. Maybe you get lower taxes. Already when I pay my phone bill, they charge me $1 convenience tax because I pay with cash.
Just based on the information they put out there, MIT can detect from a distance if you've got your shots or not. Why in the world would they ever need that? Well, this is what I said on January 7th. Tell me how I figured this out.
Okay, guys. Richie from Boston right now. Listen to this. You're just going to die. Listen to what he says because you might want to tie your ribs up or something from bursting with laughter. This is absolutely amazing that he actually thinks this is happening. Watch. He thinks that he discovered something. He thinks he predicted something. You're going to die. When have we ever known Richie to do anything smart? Never.
Exactly. I mean, exactly. This makes no sense unless they're going to have a pandemic. Whether real or imagined, the more people freak out about it, the more they can move forward with it. Period. Do not believe the hype. If you don't engage in this, they have zero power. If you hit your knees and pray to God through Yahushua to God.
Oh my God. Does anybody here believe that Richie actually bends the knee to God every night? He says when he does these little videos that I bend my knee to God and I pray every night. Bullshit. The only thing Richie from Boston ever prayed for was a lighter sentence.
Guide you and tell you what's real. You'll get your answer. Period. Period. Or don't. Or don't. Don't listen to me because you don't like the way I talk. Don't listen to me because you don't like the way I live. I'll tell you what I'm doing right now, I was doing long before I was Richie from Boston.
Thanks, Lee. I appreciate that. Lee with the super chat of €4.99. Appreciate it. Thank you.
FYI. You can also look that up. Or don't. Too many people are falling for the predictive program.
After Richie says you can look it up or don't, watch his mouth. He really is proud of himself the way he just talks. He really amazes himself, I think. Watch.
FYI. You can also look that
or don't.
up.
Watch.
Or don't.
Nom, 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 nom. Nom, nom, nom.
Too many people are falling for the predictive program. It just dawned on me. The coronavirus can be spread through the eyes.
It just dawned on me. I didn't know the eyes was part of my body. I thought they were plastics. I did. I didn't know they was reals, that you can get a disease in your eyes. Well, look, I found something out. Check this out.
Year 2020, all this broke out. Through the eyes. How are you ingesting all this fear porn from the mainstream?
All right, this is the last comment I'm going to make because this is getting old. Richie says you can contract the virus through the eyes, and he's using kids watching TV as through the eyes. That's the disease. That's what these fear-mongerers do. They change everything around to fit their narrative. You can't tell me kids watching TV is the same thing as the coronavirus. You can't contract the coronavirus, Richie, from watching TV, dillhole. No, you can, because the eyes aren't plastic. I thought because we wore, plastic glasses, your eyes were plastic. I had no ideas. Lee with another $1.99 super chat. Thank you very much. We are your family. We do wish you and your mate the best. Please recover quickly. I would hate to hear any other news. Thank you, Lee. We all pray for Lee and his mate. Yeah, no coronavirus, but still, scary shit. But there goes Richie twisting up the words of mainstream media to fit the narrative. But I want to talk a little bit now about psychics because they bother me. You know they have. And the reason I'm going to tell you now, this is the second time I'm bringing it up. The first time I think it was just being mentioned as something that I did. But there's something that happened to me when I was very young that I never told a soul about when I started doing this. There was no reason to. But there was a reason for me not to mention it. I mean, it had nothing to do with ufology. It had to do with, well, if there's real psychics out there, and I've talked to many, over 100 different psychics, some of them more than once, twice, 3 times. And none of them could ever figure out what it was that made me who I am. Really. None of them could pick up on this. How could they not pick up on this? This is the most important thing that has ever happened in my entire life, and not one psychic could pick up on it? It's unbelievable. And what it was, and the reason I did this, because every time I would come across a psychic, I wanted to see if they had the ability to figure out what it was about me. What made Rich Wick the person he is today? Why? Why do I distrust people? Why am I afraid of these things? Why do I get paranoid on this? Or why is it this way? Why am I so more into animals than I am people? All these things come around to one event in my life, and not one psychic ever got it right, among other things. But we all know they generalize. They can use the same exact technique on me, use it on you, it would have different meaning, and it would still seem like they were right. So with that being said, the thing that I never told anyone, and a couple of months ago, last year, I mentioned it to a psychic that was on Dave's show. Right? And after the show ended, hey, FAP, thank you for the $5 super chat, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate it. Says, loves the show. Thanks. No, thank you very much, you guys. Thank you. $5, man. That's, you guys are crazy. It's your money. It's your money. It's going to a good cause. That you definitely will know for sure. But it is odd that none of these psychics could get it. And I did that on purpose. And not one psychic could get it right. Not even close. And one night after Dave had a psychic on his show, we were talking afterwards. And I gave her a chance to see if she would guess it. She did not. There was another person there. I think she was psychic. Didn't guess it. I don't know if she tried. A few minutes later, I said, I'll give you another chance, but I'll give you a hint. Gave her a hint, didn't get it. Added to that hint immediately after she didn't get it. And then she says, oh, it has to do with this. Well, all right. Figured it out after 3 hints. Okay. But she didn't. She didn't get it right. But what it is, when I was young, and what these psychics couldn't pick up on, was that when I was 7 years old, my brother was killed. And none of them could figure that out. It's the reason we moved to Arizona. It happened right up the street from where we lived. I remember it as if it was yesterday. And it is the one thing that 3 years of my life I don't remember much of. So from 7 to 10, I don't remember much. It's really weird. I remember a lot when I was 6 before, and I remember moving to Arizona when I was 10 and a half, 11, because we moved twice to Arizona. We moved when I was 10 and a half. My father was still retiring. We moved back to New York, and then we moved when he retired again 6 months later to Arizona. So I don't remember much, and it's weird. My mother would tell me some strange stories. I don't know what you're talking about. I remember some things, but I don't remember birthdays. And I think that's normal. Like kids at that age don't remember much. It's weird. I think life's happening too fast. Your brain is still a sponge, absorbing everything around it. It's constantly growing. But not one psychic could get that right. So I thought when I got older and did the show, not telling anybody about that ever, to see if any of them would ever pick up. Okay, psychic lady, what's the one thing? And I would ask them every time, what's the one thing that happened in my life that every day I remember, and it made me who I am. None of them gets it right. Try it a different way. What disaster? Nope, they never got it right. They always went mother, father died, or, it was never anything about a brother. They would say sister. I'm like, you're wrong. Man, you guys suck. So none of them got it right. So there's a reason why I'm very not for psychics. They suck. And I know how they lie, and I know how they're charlatans. Look, are there psychics out there? The government would tell you yes. Remote viewing supposedly really happened. They're able to remote view. I do meditating. I'm trying to get back into it every day, and I have been doing it, and it's been working. And I talked about doing The Secret as part of my meditation, and I do, and it seems to be working. But does it mean that I have the ability to figure out psychic events? Because like I said at the beginning of the show, if there is a globalized change, a globalization of change, remember, before the virus, everybody was talking about how we're going to ascend to a new level of enlightenment, how we're going to ascend into the ascension of all ascensions. We are going to travel to other dimensions and meet our brothers and sisters that are exactly like us. Bullshit. And I'm going to tell you, you may believe in it. It's just imagination gone wild. It's all it is. That should be the channel name from now on. Imagination gone wild. Because that's what people are doing. They're just using their imagination. It's something we lose when we get older. Our creativity. When you're a child, all you do is daydream, right? You don't have anything but daydreaming. You don't have any life experiences. You daydream what it's like to go here, go there, go everywhere. And you know what happens when you're daydreaming as a youngster? You're creating your future, whether you know it or not. And it's a shame that we don't know these things, because your brain, and we talked about this the other night with The Secret, gives off the same electronic impulses or electricity in thought as it does in real-time activity. So if you are standing next to a volcano and it goes off, and a week later you remember what it felt like to be next to that volcano, your brain is giving off the same exact activity as it did when it first happened in reality. So the universe can't tell the difference between reality and thought, which is supposedly the secret to being successful. So what I've been doing is the worst thing. I've been thinking and talking about the coronavirus as a negative, and I should think that it's never going to get me and I'm not going to get sick, which is pretty much what I try to do. But every time I turn on the internet, open up the TV apps, go on to YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, it's corona, 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 corona. And not one freaking psychic got it right. Right? This new change, this new enlightenment. Everybody's getting to the next level of ascensia. And yet not one person was able to predict this, except for this guy. This guy here. He got it right. Richie from Boston. He said it January 7th. Yeah, it was like 6 weeks after the coronavirus was already out. But yeah, you might as well accept Richie from Boston as the voice of the future, because he's just as good as any psychic out there. I don't understand you psychics. You claim to have this power that you can see the future, talk to the dead, even go in the past and become other people. right? What do they call that when you become another person? You get, what do they call that when they take over your body? Possessed. And the one guy, what about the one guy? What about that guy? The guy asks, what is it you just said? Hello, how are you? And do you have chocolate? So that's what means. Yes. Yes, that's what it means. Are you freaking kidding me? In this day and age, I'm going to believe this shit. Come on now, people. We got to wake up and we need to realize that there are no psychics. There is no coronavirus. All right, there might be. Okay, there is. But let's just see what happens. Now, I'm pretty sure that this isn't fake. The coronavirus is real. But I'm saying let's just keep our heads cool. Do what's smart, right? Don't touch your face. I know, the least you touch yourself, the better. There's nothing you can do to avoid it except stay away from crowds, stay away from other people, right? That's the only way. I'm going to tell you, it is really creepy out where I'm living right now. And I noticed it around the time when usually there's a lot of noise. Traffic noise. I look out the window. I want to make sure the earth is still out there. Yeah, everything looks normal, but there's no traffic. So I kept staring out the window. I seen the traffic light up the street, but no cars. I get on the Google Maps and I look up. I'm trying to see if there's any accidents nearby. Maybe traffic is being deferred. No. It's as if, no, I mean, even now, it's quiet. You haven't heard me talk about any honking noises, any cars starting, anything. It is weird. It is eerily quiet. I like it because I'm like, I think some people here, I'm an introvert. I keep to myself, and there's a horn. Somebody just got home. It is just bizarre. I'm just really upset. Let's take a look here. I'm going to look at something real quick. Did psychics predict coronavirus? I want to know. Here, let me get rid of this one. Hold on. Let me do it for you. We'll do it together. Come on, Rich. No, I want... Yeah, just... There. All right. I'm getting good at this. 10 shows later. All right. Did psychics predict coronavirus? Oh, yeah, Sylvia Brown made a prediction in 2013 in her book, Apocalyptic, here it is. In around 2020, she says, the end of days predictions of Sylvia Brown. Good thing I went here, I forgot. 2020, a severe pneumonia-like illness will spread throughout the globe, attacking the lungs and the bronchial tubes and resisting all known treatments. Almost more baffling than the illness itself will be the fact that it'll suddenly vanish. It will suddenly vanish as quickly as it arrived, attack again in 10 years, and then disappear completely. Rich. Sylvia? No, this is Rich from Boston. Let me get Sylvia for you. Hey, Richard. Sylvia. Hey, you bastard. I'm sitting up here in heaven at 33 years old. Why do you sound like you still have that lung problem? Shut up, you bastard. That's the imprint I left. I was saying, if you had a corona, you could get a virus. Sylvia, that is the dumbest joke I've ever heard. And I don't believe in your silly prediction. I said it years ago, and I put it in my book. Oh, I got dizzy on that one, Rich. Sylvia, go take a nap. I'm sorry, I got dizzy. All right, thank you. Well, in recent weeks, there's been plenty of rumors, myths, and misinformation about the newest pandemic, COVID-19. I've written several pieces on the topic, tackling both intentional and accidental bogus information. Some of the most pernicious, of course, involves misinformation about healthcare decisions, such as fake cures, but there are others. One of the most curious is the recent resurrection of a prediction by Sylvia Browne. Yeah, please. So here's what's going to happen. The virus is going to end, right? We're all getting back to normal. A decade later, coronavirus part 2 all over the globe. And then it disappears again, she says, for good. It disappears forever. The second time. Oh, that's a great prediction there. That's a real good prediction. Well, you know what else is interesting? Was that Daniel Kuntz novel where he talks about, here, look, I'll even pull it up here. I'll tell you what it is. Hold on a second. You guys are getting crazy. I'll show you something. I'll tell you about it. I can't show you because I don't want to give up other information on this person. But the Daniel Kuntz novel specifically stated, here it is. Come on, you dirty book. The Eyes of Darkness talks about, listen to this. I'm going to read it right from the book. They called the stuff Wuhan 400 because it was developed at their rDNA labs in the city of Wuhan. And it was the I can't read this. It was the 4-something viable strain of man-made microorganism created at that facility. And they called it the Wuhan 400. It is the perfect weapon. It affects only human beings. No other living creature can carry it. And like eyeballs, Wuhan 400 can't survive outside a living body for longer than a minute. Which means it can't permanently contaminate objects or entire, I can't read this, or entire places the way an outbreak and other virals in the, like the Black Plague. Okay. So you can see the similarities in Daniel Kuntz's novel, The Eyes of whatever, Darkness? The Eyes of Darkness. Is that what it was? Yeah, The Eyes of Darkness. That's now Daniel Kuntz, who is a very good writer, by the way, said that years ago. Yeah, and it even said Wuhan, where this was originated. I know you want to say it's originated in a lab in the United States, and we sold it to 4 other countries just so they can have it and test it and see if they can come up. I don't know what to believe. All I know is that's where the outbreak happened in 2019, and that's what it said in the Daniel Kuntz novel. That is amazing stuff. Now, I asked before I went on that little tangent, did any psychics come up with this prediction of the virus? Kim Kardashian shares message from psychic Sylvia Browne. That's got to be the same thing. Yeah, that's the same thing. A closer look at Browne's prediction? Skeptics such as myself, Joe Nichols, Susan Gerbeck, Massimo Polidro, James Randi, and others have a long history of taking a closer look at psychic claims. Let's revisit. All right. So if you talk about that, she says a severe pneumonia-like illness would spread throughout the globe, attacking the lungs. All right. There's a lot packed into these 2 sentences, so let's parse this out. First, we have an indefinite date range. Right. around 2020. That could mean 2018, that could mean 2022 or 2020, which depends on how loosely you interpret the word around. Brown doesn't write in 2020, which would narrow it down to one calendar year. She writes around, whose grammatically awkward construction suggests to the editor in me that she, or her editor, added the word around in a late draft to make it more general, a typical psychic technique. What around 2020 means varies by subjective criterion and could plausibly include a range of plus or minus 3 or more years. All right, got it. So what did Brown predict would happen sometime during those years? A severe pneumonia-like illness. COVID-19 is not a severe pneumonia-like illness. Though it can in some cases lead to pneumonia, most of those infected, about 80%, have mild symptoms and recover just fine. And the disease has a mortality rate of 2 to 4%. There are two types of coronaviruses, severe acute respiratory syndrome and Middle East respiratory syndrome, and that can cause severe respiratory infections. But COVID-19 is not among them. Both SARS and MERS are often far more deadly. Where will it go, according to Brown? It will spread throughout the globe, attacking the lungs and the bronchial tubes. COVID-19 is now indeed spread throughout the globe, though the phrase attacking the lungs and bronchial tubes isn't a prediction, but merely restates any pneumonia-like illness. She offers another specific characteristic of this disease, that of resisting all known treatments. This also does not describe COVID-19, which doesn't resist all known treatments. In fact, doctors know exactly how to treat, though not effectively vaccinate or quarantine, which are very different measures, the disease. And it's essentially the same for influenza or other similar respiratory infections. There's nothing unique about COVID-19's resistance to treatment. Another sentence says, almost more baffling than the illness itself will be the fact that it will suddenly vanish as quickly as it arrived, attack again 10 years later, and then disappear completely. This is false. At least as of now, COVID-19 has not suddenly vanished as quickly as it arrived, and even if it eventually does, its emergence pattern would have to be compared with other typical epidemiology data to know whether it's baffling. Infectious diseases, especially ones such as respiratory illnesses, have predictable patterns, and modeling outbreaks is a whole branch of public health. Given a normal distribution, the bell curve of cases, it would not necessarily be baffling if the disease subsided as quickly as it arose. In fact, that would be astonishing is if it did not. In other words, if over the course of a week or two, the infection rates plummeted inexplicably as no new infections were reported at all. That would be an amazing psychic prediction. Furthermore, to note that the prediction couldn't be mostly validated until 2030, since it references a recurrence of the disease 10 years later. A neat trick for a prediction made, or at least made public, nearly a quarter century earlier. And as to whether it would then disappear completely, I suppose that could be determined true or false at some point around the end of time. So expect a follow-up piece. Anyway, as you can see, a bunch of shibber-shlabber from Sylvia Brown. But I haven't seen anything other than Sylvia Brown and Kuntz. What is this one? Is this the Sylvia Brown? I gotta tell you, Richard, I'm always right. I'm never wrong. Sylvia, you are so wrong. Well, listen to me. If I was wrong, then what's happening? Everything you said is not happening here, so go away. All right, here it is again. So no psychic came or went public. Not one psychic. Because if there was a psychic out there, they would have seen this coming with the supposed, and here's where you have to take a look at yourself now, Mr. and Mrs. Psychic, here's where you need to grow up and stop lying. You need to tell yourself, I am not psychic, or else I would have predicted this. Everybody say the same thing. I am not psychic, or else I would have predicted the coronavirus. Again, I am not psychic, or I would have predicted the coronavirus. I am not psychic, or I would have predicted the coronavirus. Let's add a little bit to this one. I am not psychic, or I would have predicted the coronavirus a year earlier. Right? I am not psychic. Right? Get out of here. Hold on. Would have predicted the coronavirus a year. My fingers aren't working. A year earlier than its announcement. All right, I had to make a note because I wanted to do this. Make this known. I am not psychic, or I would have predicted the coronavirus a year earlier than its announcement. Again, I am not psychic, or I would have predicted the coronavirus a year earlier than it announcement. Dude, first of all, your eyes are not. Hey, look, I had everything on all caps. I don't know why it went this way. See, this is what I'm talking about. I know I saw the all caps light. It was on. So how did it, and how did it, I got to tell you, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time we say this. I am not a psychic, or I would have predicted the coronavirus a year earlier than its announcement. Nobody's psychic. You can say, yes, I am psychic. You can say it all you want, but you're not. You can say, well, maybe I'm an empath. What do you mean you're an empath? You can feel when other people are down. Yeah, I can too. It's in their voice. It's in their body language. And I could walk into a room and sense that something is going on. Doesn't make you psychic. Anybody can walk into a room and hear a low mumble of conversation. And when you walk into the room, that rumbling sound of the conversation changes its octave to higher or lower. Yes, you may have added something to the conversation when you walked into the room, but you cannot predict the general feeling of everybody in a room. You may think you can. I thought I used to. I used to say it all the time. I'm an empath. I don't know what I am, to be honest with you. I think I'm human. And I think humans want to be more special than they really are. And I think humans cry out psychic abilities because they know nobody can disprove it or prove it. It's the perfect way to get. It's the perfect way to feel special when you're not special at all. It's for people who need attention, want attention, get attention. And the people like Sylvia Brown who make it to that all multimedia level, shame on her. I would have loved to have seen a book, her last book, and have it called I Am Not Psychic After All. I'm just human. Because none of the things that she says come true. Believe what you want to believe. Either way, I digest. Why do empathy need to look like pixie unicorn shaggers? Shaggers? Shaggers. Bob Shaggers? All right. So let's do a little bit something here. Let's do this. Hold on. I think I played that. Yeah. Yeah, I am sweating up a storm. I am looking for something that I think you might be interested in. Here it is. I don't know how this is going to go down, but I'm going to play this video. Real Psychics. I think I played this. I'm not
Our
sure.
prophet has returned.
The creative freedom of animation allows cartoons to take their stories anywhere. And more times than we could have imagined, many of these cartoons have predicted the future. Which show predicted the Pokemon Go craze? Which show featured the future of a scary movie franchise? And how was Inspector Gadget ahead of his time? Time to break down these future predictions from favorites like The Simpsons, South Park, and Robot Chicken.
Let's go into my office.
Pokemon Go took the world by storm back in 2016. Well, back in 1999, South Park could see the rise of Pokemon coming and decided to take it on with the episode entitled Chin Pokemon.
Wow.
The parody of the Pokemon included everything from toys to video games. Much like the Pokemon Go craze and controversy with the app, the children of South Park were being tracked and manipulated with the various Chin Pokemon products. Just like real people exploring the outdoor world trying to catch them all, the kids of South Park were addicted to the trend, and it took some major intervention to stop it all. One of the funniest parts is how strong the Pokemon brand remains to this day. And South Park predicted the brand domination over 20 years ago, when the anime was just reaching the United States. Milhouse isn't the brightest character on The Simpsons, but he was able to make a bold prediction that no one else expected. The prediction came in the 2010 season premiere episode where Lisa has some friends over to watch the live Nobel Prize announcements. When Martin holds up the Nobel Prize pool, check out Milhouse's pick for economics. Bang Holstrom. Well, 6 years later, the MIT professor would actually win the prize for economics, and hopefully Milhouse cashed in on the delayed pool victory. Clearly, the Simpsons writers did their research when it came to actually filling out the pool. Poor Steve Harvey. Despite being one of the greatest Family Feud hosts, hosting his own talk show, and writing many best-selling books, all anyone can talk about is his Miss Universe mishap where he announced the wrong winner back in 2015. The mistake actually aired on Fox, home of Futurama, the animated series which showcased an eerily similar error back in the year 2000. During the season 2 episode, The Lesser of Two Evils, Leela gets crowned Miss Universe. Unfortunately for her, the host and judge, Zap Brannigan, read the wrong name, and Miss Vega 4 was declared the winner as Leela got stripped of her crown. We have to wonder if Steve Harvey watched the episode to, make himself feel better after the incident. The Child's Play franchise has been going strong for years and relied on Brad Dourif to voice the menacing doll for all this time, right up until the 2019 reboot got released. In the reboot, Chucky is voiced by legendary voice actor Mark Hamill. Of course, we all know him as Luke Skywalker, but Hamill has voiced numerous cartoon characters, including the Joker from Batman the Animated Series.
It's nice that way.
Oddly enough, back in 2005, Hamill took his first stab, see what he did there? At voicing Chucky in a parody for the cartoon Robot Chicken. His voice role was great back then, and showcased a lot of potential for the future. A future which turned into a memorable reboot. We have to wonder if producers approached him due to the scene, or if Robot Chicken creators had some hindsight into Hamill's future. Caitlyn Jenner's transformation from Bruce took the world by surprise back in 2015. Well, not
All right, so they predicted that on The Simpsons as well. Family Guy, that Bruce Jenner is a woman.
Bruce Jenner to come out and do a seductive dance for the Navy guys. The feather boa and girly gestures were definitely hinting about Jenner's transformation. The show pokes fun at a ton of celebrities, but this instance seems a little too on the nose for the show's creators to not have a little more insider info.
And then they also predicted correctly Kevin Spacey when they did a thing on Stewie running out through the mall saying that Kevin Spacey may lock me in his basement.
Decade after the episode aired. Can you imagine if all the KFCs around your town were shut down? Yeah, well, this is exactly what happened in the 2010 episode of South Park entitled Medicinal Fried Chicken. When the KFC does close in South Park, Cartman decided to sell his own.
I think these predictions are too spot on just to be. I mean, they could have said anything. They could have said Wendy's, Subway, but they did Kentucky Fried Chicken. And then Kentucky Fried Chicken did close down. I don't understand how all this stuff can happen. Same thing with the voter fraud that happened in Florida with the computers. Here, they're going to talk about it next.
Clearly taps Obama, but a vote for John McCain pops up.
No, I want to vote for Obama.
No matter how much Homer tries to change his vote, more votes get triggered for McCain. Of course,
that's amazing. It's exactly what happened. Yeah, then they tried to do one on 9/11. That didn't work out for me, and so on. The Tigers, they predicted that the Hans and Franz, the act. What was this? What were they called? Shields and Yarnell? No.
Show for good, and the world of Las Vegas changed forever following the scary animal incident.
Who was it? Shields and Yarnell? No, that was the. What were these guys called? Hans and Franz? No.
Opens up his own casino and presents the Gunter and Ernst show. Well, the White Tiger had finally had enough and attacks the two performers in a way that wasn't much different from real life. The 1993 episode seemed to come true 10 years later when Roy was attacked on.
Oh, Siegfried and Roy. That's right.
Tangent time. If you heart Screen Rant content.
Anyway, pretty interesting. Yeah, Siegfried and Roy. I couldn't remember. Hans and Franz was Saturday Night Live. Right? Yeah, I can't play that. I wish I could. It's time to pump you up. Anyway. Well, I tell you what. Tonight's Thursday, so what's that? It's Thursday. Thursday. Why? What do you think's happening? It is. It's time to go. We're just doing a short show tonight. Capiche? There you go. See? Music's playing. That's all for tonight. Just a short one. I want to tell you guys, psychics aren't real. I don't care what you say. That's my opinion. I think it's the right one. And don't forget, you could join GUFON. GUFON, what is it? GUFON.net. That's the website. Updates all the time. It's free. Get your own little thing. If you want to join GUFON, you want to donate without doing anything, you can just donate at GUFON.org. All over the floor, you donate. If you want to support the stream, you can go to Patreon and become a patron of GUFON Radio. Right there at patreon.com/GUFON Radio. I'm Rich Giordano. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you all tomorrow night on Friday the 13th show. It will be good. I promise you that. I'm out of here. Giddy up. Stay safe, everybody. No virus.